Hello guys, in this video I'm going to do some work on this ASUS desktop PC. I got it from eBay, pretty cheap. The exact model is this one. It was barebone originally. I'm not really sure if the components inside are the original ones or not, or only the case remains. It has a Pentium D, so it could be original. But the main problem at the moment is I got it about a week ago, but I didn't have time to play around with it. Yeah, something is rattling inside. So at this point I would like to see what's rattling and how big of a damage it made inside. Because the last thing that you want in a PC is something flapping around in the breeze in there. So I honestly have no idea what it is. And yeah, okay, that is pretty bad. Yeah, this was flapping around in the breeze. So I have no clue if this will even work anymore. It's the memory, 1 gig of DDR2, and it fell out of its socket. You can see this latch open, most likely during the transport. So this kind of sucks. The motherboard is an ASRock G31MGS with 2 slots for memory. It has, from what I see, IDE, SATA, PCI Express, so it's not really old, not really new. It's somewhere in between. But yeah, at this point I'm going to plug back in the memory and try to power it on. But I will take a better look at the memory, because you can imagine how much it did around here during transport, so that kind of sucks. Plugged in the memory, everything seems to be okay, at least visually. Plugged in power, mouse and keyboard, and let's see what it does, if it does anything. Okay, seems to be turning on. Nothing on the monitor for the moment. No beep. That is pretty bad. I don't really like it. Okay, as you can see, no image. So this thing is potentially dead. It is not even turning off. It turned off in the end. Does it have another video output? No, it does not. Okay, this kind of sucks. Let me turn off and try to put the memory in the other slot, see what happens then. Maybe it has one bad memory slot, who knows. And yeah, it either didn't make contact or it has one bad memory slot. That kind of sucks because I had 1 gigabyte of memory laying around and I planned on putting it in this computer. So yeah, I must investigate that. So for the moment this is the configuration. 3.2 gigahertz Pentium D. Yeah, the date and time are completely wrong, and 1 gig of RAM and 80 gigabytes hard drive. So I'm planning on upgrading the memory, the hard drive, and adding a graphics card. But yeah, must investigate that second memory slot. So I'll be back in a moment. And it seems I'm lucky. I added the second gigabyte of RAM, and as you can see it is detected. So we now have 2 gigabytes of RAM, not a huge amount of memory, but I also have a Windows Vista free license. You might say Windows Vista where bad, okay, I know, but a lot of people simply use their computers for Facebook and YouTube, for example. And if you have a good browser, it doesn't really matter that you are running on Windows Vista and you still have a good license. You are not pirated. So if I have a free license, I will put it on this PC. And yeah, next let me dig around and see what hard drives I have to laying around to install in this. So that will be in a moment. I'm back. Okay, so I sorry, cannot talk today. I found 80 gigabytes hard drive, Seagate one. I also found 320 gigabytes Seagate and 500 gigabytes Seagate. But I did a little bit of thinking and I need the 500 gigs and the 320 gigs for another project of mine. Basically I'm building a gaming PC from an older server, but that has a quad-core CPU. It will have 4 or 8 gigabytes of RAM, so yeah, way better to put bigger hard drives in that one. And I think that this PC with 2 gigabytes of RAM, Windows Vista, this a little bit older CPU, will do just fine with 160 gigabytes of storage. Basically one hard drive will be for Windows and one for whatever the user wants to store on it. So yeah, next let me do some digging for some screws, and I'm going to end cables and I'm going to come back in a moment. Let's do this. I'm going to put the hard drive in. I must unplug the SATA cable from the other one because it doesn't allow me to put this one in. Put the screws. This one is in a weird position, right under this plastic clip, but nothing I can do about it. Okay, hard drive is tight. Plug the SATA back into the original one, and then the problem is I do not have another SATA power. Everything in here is Molex or floppy. So at this point you can actually see even this one is from an adapter. So yeah, even when they made this computer they used an adapter. So the only thing that I can do is to use another adapter. So yeah, and these are always a pain to plug in. They are quite annoying, they never go well because these adapters are not really good quality, are pretty cheap, so you have to wiggle them around a lot until they go in. And this one finally went in. So let me see how can I plug this. Okay, plugged in. I really hate this cable. I will try to see what I'm going to do with it. It's the cable for the CPU cooler, but it's really in the way. I must put it behind some wires because I don't want it entering the blades of the cooler. It can still enter. When I opened it, it was something like that, directly into the blades. So I think I'm unplugging it and see what I can do. I'm going to do something really weird. I'm going to put it behind the cables from the motherboard and only then into its connector. Yeah, it's not really a great thing to do. Come on, plug in. But I don't want to do any cable management because honestly, what cable management can you do with this? There is no room behind the motherboard tray, of course, in the case old as this. Two adapters, IDE cable, so no cable management in this case, so I'm not even going to bother. So we have power, and now this 1 kilometer cable, this is what I have, and as you can see, even this one, the original one, is extremely long. So at this point I'm gonna plug it in the hard drive and probably do something similar to the original one and make it stay like this and then plugged in. Let me just see how it goes. Okay, plugged in also into the red port, and this should be good enough in my opinion. So I think I'm going to use one of this type of zip ties. Pretty big for what I'm doing here, but this is what I have. Okay, I'm just going to cut the zip tie, but one moment, I don't have anything to cut it with at the moment. Okay, I cut it. Cables are out of the way as much as it is possible in this case. And next, I'm going to put this graphics card. It's a Radeon X300, 128 megabytes graphics card. It's really low power, but way better than the integrated one, and for what this PC will do, good enough. Of course, it can be upgraded basically to anything that doesn't really require additional power connectors. So anything under 75 watts is good in this case. Okay, so the card is in. I just need to find another screw for it. One moment. I just have a hunch that this is the wrong size of screw that I'm trying to put in here. Is it? No, it is not. Okay. So, what can I say? Basically, it's ready to go. I think I'm going to risk it and even put the cover back on, because nothing that I did should create any problems of something not working, so yeah. Don't really know what you can see when I'm putting these screws in the back, if anything, but I will be done in one moment, and then we will power this on. Okay, move the display from the integrated graphics to this card. And hopefully we will get some image. But that remains to be seen in a moment. This is live, so we should have power and image. But we don't. Yeah. It was a fail from my part to put everything together and try to power it on. Let's kill it and see if we get the image onto the other card. Nope, yet again, no image. So what I'm thinking at this point, let me just kill it again. One of the memory slots might actually be somewhat problematic. Because this is exactly what it did the first time when I tried to put the memory on in this slot. So let's wiggle it around a little bit, because I've bumped into it while moving the cables around here, and probably it's just not making contact yet again. Back into this slot. Nope, it doesn't like something. The question is what? So I will investigate and return. Maybe it's the graphics card, who knows. As you can see, we have image. It was the graphics card, not the memory, and I did not do anything different, just unplugged it and plugged it back in a few times. So most likely it was a problem with making contact in the slot, because this was probably never used. So bad contacts, but it is running now, so yeah. Let me just kill it. Let it just try to boot. As you can see, we are okay. Weirdly enough, we might even have Windows onto this hard drive. I'm going to power it off. Who knows what Windows I have. I'm going to put it back together and be back in a moment. It seems I have a Windows XP installed on the hard drive that I've just plugged in. Don't really care because I will change that to Windows Vista. So at this point, yeah, I booted from a USB drive. Also tested the front USB, they work. So I have a Vista image. I'm going to put that image from another computer. I'm going to put it on this one and only change the serial key for Windows. You can change the serial key pretty easily in Vista 7, 8, 10. It's really easy to change the key. A little bit trickier in Windows XP. So yeah, I'm going to be back when we are booted into Vista from this machine, from the hard drive. And we are booted into Windows Vista, and now I'm going to shut it down and put back Windows XP, because I'm a moron and I didn't check previously, and the free license that I have is actually Windows XP. I mistook it for an older Vista license that I already put on another PC. So yeah, Windows XP, what can I do? I will put an image of Windows XP, because I also have an image of Windows XP, but it was already on the hard drive. So yeah, too late now. And we are booted into Windows XP. Of course, we will wait for it to install the drivers for this new PC that I've put it on. And yeah, we will see how everything works after it finishes installing the drivers, and probably I will need to install myself a few of them. And it's finished. It's working perfectly. It's quite weird because even this many years later, this Pentium D is quite a snappy CPU. So it will be used for internet without any issues. So yeah, what else is there to say? If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe, check out my other videos, and yeah, see you again next time. Bye!